Hello, friends. Thanks for taking some time to join me again today. It's Miss Robin with the Denton Library, and that is Denton, North Carolina. So good to have you with me today. I'm going to be talking about an author of children's books named Keiko Kasza, and then we're going to end up with some of her ideas, books on Mother's Day. But I'm just going to start off right at the beginning by reading you one of her books, and it is called The Wolf's Chicken Stew. And she is the author and the illustrator, writes the words and creates the pictures. So here we go. There once lived a wolf who loved to eat more than anything else in the world. As soon as he finished one meal, he began to think of the next. One day the wolf got a terrible craving for chicken stew. All day long he walked across the forest in search of a delicious chicken. Finally he spotted one. "Ah, she is just perfect for my stew," he thought. The wolf crept closer, but just as he was about to grab his prey, he had another idea. If there were just some way to fatten this bird a little more, he thought, there would be all the more stew for me. So the wolf ran home to his kitchen and he began to cook. First he made 100 scrumptious pancakes. Then late at night he left them on the chicken's porch. "Eat well, my pretty chicken," he cried. "Get nice and fat for my stew." Well, the next night he brought 100 scrumptious donuts. "Eat well, my pretty chicken," he cried. "Get nice and fat for my stew." And on the next night, he brought a scrumptious cake weighing 100 pounds. "Eat well, my pretty chicken," he cried. "Get nice and fat for my stew." At last, all was ready. This was the night he had been waiting for. He put a large stew pot on the fire and set out joyfully to find his dinner. That chicken must be as fat as a balloon by now, he thought. Let's see. But as he peeked into the chicken's house, the door opened suddenly and the chicken screeched, "Oh, so it was you, Mr. Wolf." Children, look! The pancakes and donuts and that scrumptious cake, they weren't from Santa Claus. All those presents were from Uncle Wolf. The baby chicks jumped all over the wolf and gave him 100 kisses. "Oh, thank you, Uncle Wolf. You're the best cook in the world." Uncle Wolf didn't have chicken stew that night, but Mrs. Chicken fixed him a nice dinner anyway. "Oh, shucks," he thought as he walked home. "Maybe tomorrow I'll bake the little critters 100 scrumptious cookies." I like that book. Keiko Kasza writes several books with wolves in them. Anyway, great book. All right, Keiko Kasza was born on an island off in the sea of near Japan, and she lived there until she was studying in school. This is a picture of her when she was born, kind of in a traditional Japanese outfit for little ones, for a portrait anyway. And she came to the United States in 1973 to continue her education in college. And so she went to college and she began experimenting with writing children's books. And she began publishing them as a publishing company accepted one. And she has now published 22 children's books, wonderful books. We have quite a few in the children's department. You're welcome to check out. And when she was writing her books, she said this: "I become the character that I'm working on at that moment. I pretend that I'm a bird looking for a mother or a pig trying to impress his girlfriend. And when I'm acting, I'm a child myself." So she would put herself in the position of the character she was writing about to try to see maybe what they were doing or feeling and kind of act out the part. And that's how she wrote her books. She lives in Indiana now with her husband and 2 sons. And here is a recent picture of her. Keiko Kasza, great children's author.
Does she still write?
I'm not sure about that, Susan. All right. I'm going to show you a few of her other books in case you're interested in checking them out. One's called My Lucky Birthday. Show you the picture on the back, too.
Poor pig.
Looks like that same wolf character, My Lucky Day. There's a little girl named Olivia. I know if you're watching, hello, Olivia. I know you like this book.
I think she likes wolves and pigs, doesn't she?
Finders Keepers. About a red hat. And then Keiko Kasza has also written several books about mothers. And she is a mother. She has 2 sons. And, you know, this Sunday is Mother's Day. And so I'm going to read you one of her books. One of them is called The Mightiest. You might be surprised how that book goes. And the one I'm going to read in just a minute is called A Mother for Choco. I'll read you that in just a minute. But Mother's Day, like I said, is this Sunday. And Mother's Day is a day where we think about our moms or our grandmothers or other women in our lives who may be important to us, who helped raise us. And we honor them. And sometimes we do little things to thank them for the things they do for us. Maybe make them a card or make them a little gift. I'm going to show you something you can make your mom in a minute. But Mother's Day became an official holiday in 1914, so it's been around a while as a holiday. And I found an interesting fact about Mother's Day I thought I would share with you. There are more phone calls made on Mother's Day than any other day of the year. Interesting, isn't it? All right, make sure you say thank you or give a hug to your mom or grandma, whoever helps take care of you. All right, A Mother for Choco.
So cute.
And these books, like I said, she was the author and illustrator. And let me see, G.P. Putnam and Sons is the publishing company for both the ones I've read. All right. Choco was a little bird who lived all alone. He wished he had a mother, but who could his mother be? One day he set off to find her. First, Choco met Mrs. Giraffe. Oh, Mrs. Giraffe, he cried, you are yellow just like me. Are you my mother? I'm sorry, sighed Mrs. Giraffe, but I don't have wings like you. Next, Choco met Mrs. Penguin. Oh, Mrs. Penguin, he cried, you have wings just like me. Are you my mother? I'm sorry, sighed Mrs. Penguin, but I don't have big round cheeks like you. Then Choco met Mrs. Walrus. Oh, Mrs. Walrus, he cried, you have big round cheeks just like me. Are you my mother? Now look, grumped Mrs. Walrus, I don't have striped feet like you, so don't bother me. No matter where Choco searched, he couldn't find a mother who looked just like him. When Choco saw Mrs. Bear picking apples, he knew she couldn't be his mother. Mrs. Bear didn't look like him at all. Choco was so sad, he started to cry. Mommy, Mommy, I need a mommy. Mrs. Bear came running to see what was the matter. As she listened to Choco's story, she sighed, oh dear, if you had a mommy, what would she do? Oh, I'm sure she would hold me, sobbed Choco. Like this? Asked Mrs. Bear, and she held Choco very tight. Yes, and I'm sure she would kiss me too, said Choco. Like this? Asked Mrs. Bear, and she lifted Choco up and gave him a big kiss. Yes, and I'm sure she would sing and dance with me to cheer me up, said Choco. Like this? Asked Mrs. Bear, and they sang and danced together. When they stopped to rest, Mrs. Bear turned to Choco and said, Choco, maybe I could be your mother. You? Choco cried. But you aren't yellow, and you don't have wings, or big round cheeks, or striped feet like me. My goodness, said Mrs. Bear, that would make me look very funny. Jocko thought it was funny too. "Well," said Mrs. Bear, "my other children are waiting for me at home. Why don't you join us for apple pie?" Apple pie sounded wonderful to Jocko, so off they went. When they arrived, Mrs. Bear's other children rushed out to greet her. "Jocko," said Mrs. Bear, "meet Hippie, Allie, and Piggy." "I am their mother, too." The sweet smell of apple pie and the sound of laughter soon filled Mrs. Bear's home. And after their delicious treat, Mrs. Bear gave all her children a big, warm bear hug. And Jocko was very happy that his new mommy looked just the way she did. Isn't she a great writer, Keiko Kasza? I really like it. And that's a great story for Mother's Day, I think. All right. I've got a little craft I would like to show you. You can make, if you would like, from materials at home, or you could make your mom a card or something. I made a little heart wreath out of paper scraps. Let me show it to you. You can hang up. Can you see that there, Miss Susan? Can you kind of see how the designs are? Each of the little paper strips are hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me show you what you can use to make that at home. You will need a pencil, some scissors, a ruler, some glue and or tape, either or both will work, and you need scrap pieces of paper. You can use paper from magazines, and it doesn't matter what color, construction paper. And we're going to cut these. We're going to cut 10 strips of paper. And these strips of paper that I use to make each heart measure 1 inch wide by 10 inches long. Let's practice measuring a little bit on this piece of paper in case that's not something that you're used to doing. Can you see on the measuring, the ruler here? From 0 to 1, this is 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, and so on. So our paper strip needs to be 1 inch wide. So I'm going to put, not at the end of the ruler, but where it says 0 on the edge of my paper. And I'm going to make a little mark at 1 because I want it 1 inch wide. Now I'm going to make one a little farther down just so I can keep it even. I've got my paper lined at 0. I'm going to make a little mark at 1. Now that gives me a place to put my ruler. See, I have the edge on this mark. And I'm going to move this edge up to that mark. I'm going to draw a line. And so this is 1 inch wide all the way across. But I want it 10 inches long. So again, I'm going to put my ruler at the top this time. Putting the 0 at the edge. And I want it 10 inches. So I'm going to make a mark right here at 10. And then I would cut out this strip of paper. And you're going to keep measuring and marking. So you can just take your time with this craft. You don't have to hurry. You can do part of it a while and part of it another time. Because you've got several days till Mother's Day. Maybe you can cut out your strips, then go back and glue them together. And so there, I have a strip that is 1 inch wide by 10 inches long. So I want 10 of those strips. After I've got them cut out, I'm going to take each strip and crease it or make a fold halfway. And this is going to be the point of the heart. Open it up and fold a little bit over. Whoops, excuse me. Fold a little bit over. Takes a little working, but take your time. And you can either glue this together or tape it, or both. Put a little glue right here. And you might have to hold it a couple minutes. If you don't want to hold it too long, You can put a piece of tape where the ends come together to help. I'm going to do one more. And I'm putting these two pieces together where they match up. And I would do this with all 10 strips of paper until I finally have a heart shape out of each. Next, whoops, that one didn't stick. Yeah, it did it. Let's put a little more glue. All right, the next thing you want to do after you've got your 10 hearts is to take some glue, and you see where it starts to round out and maybe sticks out the farthest. Put some more glue there and glue your hearts together. And you do that until you have all 10 hearts glued, and it makes, when you glue your last two together, it makes a circle. And at that point you have your heart wreath, and you can just punch little holes or tape a string or a ribbon or yarn on so that your mother's heart wreath can be hung up. Pretty cool, huh? Makes a nice little gift for her. I hope you enjoy making that for someone special in your life. And if your moms are listening or grandmas, happy Mother's Day to you from the Denton Library. All right. Thanks for joining me. Come to the library and check out a book by Keiko Kasza. I know you'll enjoy it. I really enjoy her books too. All right. Thanks. Have a great week. See you later. Bye-bye.